and I am just as holy as anything.
Good. And my consciousness is real to me. And therefore, if I want to jerk this chain off his neck, I have a right to do what I want.
To interrupt you, I would ask the same.
All right, I'm sorry.
What happens when college students corner a Christian apologist with the hardest questions science and philosophy can throw? The debate ignites immediately. One student argues that human beings are nothing more than lucky arrangements of atoms shaped by billions of years of evolution, while Cliffe fires back that without God, morality collapses entirely, and even date rape becomes impossible to condemn. A young woman pushes further, insisting love and evidence are enough, with no need for Christ or Scripture. Cliffe refuses to let that logic stand unchallenged. Is morality objective, or just a product of culture, instinct, and biochemical reaction? And if there is no creator, does human dignity mean anything at all? What unfolds next will force you to question everything you thought you believed about God, truth, and the value of a human life.
So you keep referencing a book, the Bible, and the Old Testament, and the scriptures therein.
Yeah.
And while I personally do believe that Christ was a prophet, though I believe other prophets have risen in other religions, I will say that even despite the various things with the Bible that some people can call imperfections, being written by men, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which implies that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had intimate relationships. And of course, the gospel stating he had a twin brother, the dozens of gospels that have been excluded from the Bible.
Right.
Without that, I'm going to use a book. Do you believe that things are right because God said so?
I only know of 4 options in answer to that question. The powerful define right and wrong, King Arthur and his knights. Secondly, culture defines right and wrong. American culture, South African culture, Nazi culture.
Okay.
Third option, the individual defines right and wrong.
Right.
You do, I do. Fourth option, God defines right and wrong. If one of the first 3 options is correct, then obviously morality is relative, which means it just depends upon which powerful person or which culture or which individual you're talking to, because we all have disagreements and nobody's right, nobody's wrong, it's relative.
I will say that's a very simplistic way to look at moral relativism.
But if there is a God, then it's possible that there are objective morals.
All right.
Because there's a will prior to the human will that wills good.
Do you believe in that fourth option?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Been reading about this in my philosophy class.
Good.
Would you say that God, once again, defines what is right and wrong, or do you believe that God sees what is right and wrong and tells us?
Good question. I'm convinced that God's character is good. Therefore, goodness is defined throughout eternity by the character of God.
So goodness and moral values stem from God's persona. Right, his character.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right, so under that, that would be not divine command theory, but the argument of divine perfection, correct? Where God is a perfect entity, and because he is a perfect entity, he is able to be the scale by which we judge morals, correct?
Incorrect.
Okay.
The Bible never says God is a perfect entity.
All right.
When the Bible talks about the perfection of God, it's talking about his character.
Right.
His character is perfectly good.
So his moral character,
yes, sir,
is perfect.
Right.
All right. So I'll get to that, though.
Well, I'll answer that if you want me to, but go ahead.
So if God's character is perfect,
right, perfectly good,
then his decisions are arbitrary.
What does that mean?
What he says is good is ultimately defined by the only thing that existed in the universe prior to the existence of light, right? So he is, in fact, saying that this is good because I say so. Based, of course, on what you'd call a perfect character. But how can we have, if all you ever knew let's say I had a daughter, the feral child, right? Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
There was a most likely developmentally delayed girl
Mm-hmm.
who was kept in her room, chained to her bed, and had her food switched out once a day, her waist taken out
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because that 12, excuse me. But regardless of that, if all you ever knew was, let's create an imaginary person named Jebediah. I don't care what his name is. John, for sure. We got a guy named John. All that I have ever known was John. He came into my room every day for 12 years. He fed me. He took out my waist. Was that right what John did, though, by chaining me to that bed? Do I know otherwise? Because you have complete power, or you have a perception of moral perfection, how does that justify how can we be sure that God is really moral perfection? Is there objective morality that is perhaps different from God's? And what about another book? There are lots of books. There's the Book of Mormon. There's the Hindu scriptures. There's the Buddhist scriptures. There are, I could go on. We don't need me to. Why are those other books not correct? Is my belief in God less valuable than your belief because I don't believe that Christ is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit? Am I allowed to not believe in the correct objective morality? What part of objective morality could I not understand myself if God has already defined it? Wouldn't I know?
If I date rape, are you going to respect my decision to date rape? Why not?
If God said
Why not?
that you should, excuse me, if you date raped someone,
Yeah.
I would judge that morally wrong.
Is that arrogant on your part?
No,
Why?
because I have a set of relativist beliefs
Right.
that make raping someone wrong
Uh-huh.
in my eyes.
Good. That's your eyes. What about my eyes?
Well,
If I'm a date rapist, what's the basis of you telling me that what I did was wrong?
because rape is taking away free will.
So what's wrong with that?
That's not the choice for you to make.
What's wrong with that?
Well, what is wrong with that? You tell me. You've been talking about it quite a bit.
Good. I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it. To date rape is wrong because it is a violation of the dignity of a human being created in the image of God. But if a human being is a cosmic accident, then there's nothing absolutely wrong with date rape. It's just a choice. But the reason that date rape is wrong is because God created us with innate, intrinsic value. We're human beings. And to denigrate a human being by date rape is absolutely evil. Not because I'm smart, not because I'm an altruist, but simply because a human being is created by God and it's a violation of the dignity of that human being.
There are quite a few people who would say that humanism is an adequate response as to why someone's free will, their human safety, their right to life, liberty, and property, if you would like to refer to law.
Yeah.
There are quite a few people who say that simply existing as a collection of atoms that know we are atoms
Yeah.
is sufficient reason, and that our consciousness is real to us.
Good. Good.
And
And my consciousness is real to me. And therefore, if I want to jerk this chain off his neck, I have a right to do what I want.
to interrupt you, I would ask the same.
All right, I'm sorry.
So, there are many popes, for example, who have been quite humanist. Pope, I believe Nathan II, but I probably got the name wrong. I know it starts with an N. He was a Renaissance pope.
Yeah.
He believed that the human experience matters, right? That being on this earth is in of itself justification, that our only goal is not to go to a floating city in the clouds, but that we need to not only pursue morals for fear of going to hell or anything like that, we need to pursue morals because right here and now they matter. I
Yeah.
hold the same view, but I
Yeah.
have the omission of the belief that Christ is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Okay.
What makes those beliefs different? Is it because I don't believe that I'm objectively wrong? Or is it because what?
Well, I don't have the faintest idea, sir, why you believe what you believe. That's for you to tell him. I don't know.
Well, can you explain to me then how Christ is different from the book I wrote in 5th grade about how the world came to be? Can you tell me that? You know, I
Sure, I
even
can
wrote
tell
it
you that.
about a real person.
He lived a sinless life. You and I have both blown it. He taught amazing ethical teachings. He died a death on a cross, loving and forgiving his enemies. And 3 days after he died, he rose from the dead. I promise that if you die and rise from the dead, I will listen very carefully to everything you have to say.
All right.
He died, he rose from the dead. That historical resurrection sets him apart as totally unique, totally different from you and me, from every prophet, every teacher, every philosopher, be it John Locke or whoever, Bertrand Russell, that has ever lived. Does that make any sense?
My book was about Chuck Norris raising from the dead after being killed by some zombies. And it sounds like the same thing.
Yeah.
If you can find a YouTube video of something or of Jesus rising from the grave 3 days after,
Yeah.
then
would like to
then
see
I- if you can find
Yeah.
proof that these divine miracles happen, and you can show them to me, I will believe that Christ rose from the dead. I might not believe that he's the Son of God
Really?
unless God comes to me and tells me so.
Don't you know what you can do with the video? Haven't you seen Forrest Gump?
Well,
You actually think that Forrest Gump spoke to President Kennedy because
I'd
it's
love
on
to see
tape?
something like that produced.
Come on, buddy, think. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous line of thought you've just taken.
I don't even know whatsoever.
Yeah, you don't have any video of George Washington being first president of the United States. You have no video of Lincoln being assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. Historical knowledge, sir, is not based on video. I hate to tell you that. It's not based on video.
It's based on people that
The trustworthiness of eyewitness testimony.
We don't have.
Good. Then throw out Washington's first presidency, throw out Lincoln's assassination, throw it all out because you don't trust it. That's intellectually naive.
You were saying earlier that we're all given the choice with evidence to believe or not to believe. But what if I argue that I haven't been given enough evidence? And then at Judgment Day,
Yep.
when Christ comes down and says, "Okay, now you can decide
Yeah.
through evidence."
Right.
So what's the incentive for anyone to live a life of Christ if they'll have that same opportunity on Judgment Day?
Good question. Darian, can you give me a second, brother?
And if I don't feel like there's enough evidence,
Right.
what's the difference between me and a citizen of Papua New Guinea or something where they haven't been exposed to that evidence?
All right.
So what's the difference?
You bet. Okay, now notice, listen to what you've said. You've said the reason you cannot accept Christ is because of lack of evidence. Right?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Which implies before you can believe someone, you have to have X amount of evidence. Because Christ does not meet X amount of evidence, you can't believe in him. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Darian, you play football here? Used to. I met Darian last year when I was here. Twice this year, he's called me up on the phone to encourage me. All right? I don't have all the evidence in the world, but I have enough evidence to trust him. Okay? You're raising a great issue. How much evidence do I need that he's reliable before I trust him?
Your argument is that you're trusting another human being with
Right.
your wallets,
Right?
whereas me trusting a higher being that I don't feel like I have enough evidence to believe in with eternity are two very, very different things.
I agree. I agree.
I don't agree with the logic that you're using to apply to the logic that I'm questioning.
Okay, then you've missed my point. My point is,
Your point is that in order to make that leap of faith, we should be able to make that leap without full evidence that Jesus Christ existed in order to save us and that God is, his father and his existential and all the rest of that. I mean, I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, so I understand that logic, but I also understand through science that there's scientific methodology, and taking that leap of faith completely counteracts my idea of scientific methodology. I believe in science and I believe in evidence. And like I said, I don't have enough evidence to make such an enormous leap that I trust, if I even have an eternity, I don't have enough evidence to make that leap to trust an entity that I don't know exists with my eternity.
Okay. The point in my illustration is not anything about Jesus or God. The point of my illustration was I can't prove him. I can't prove that he's not going to take my wallet and hightail it. But I have enough evidence to trust him with my wallet.
Right. And I don't have enough evidence in Jesus and God to trust him with my eternal life, if there is one.
Okay, good. But notice what you're saying. You're saying because X amount of evidence has not been met by Jesus Christ, I cannot trust him.
Right.
Which obviously means you have found an alternative that is far more supported by evidence than Christ is.
Absolutely.
Good. What is that alternative? And what's the evidence that that alternative is reliable?
Okay, so but there's the point is I don't have a static way of believing. The reason why I'm standing here right now, even though I don't necessarily believe in Christianity, is because I like to absorb as much information as I can to make my own decisions on how to live my life and maybe in vain figure out what might happen to me when I die. But I don't believe in one static way of thinking. I believe that everyone has their own faith.
Fine, man.
I believe that there is a possibility of a higher being, and I'm not ready to call that God. I'm ready to call that a higher energy.
Okay.
But I think that Christianity, among many other man-made religions, narrows the focus too small.
Okay. But ma'am, I didn't put these words in your mouth. You said to me, there is not enough evidence for God and for Jesus. I respect that. But ma'am, it's going to get real rough between you and me intellectually if you say what you said and then do not show me the alternative that you're trusting today instead of God, instead of Christ, and then give me this preponderance of evidence to support this alternative as being more reliable than Jesus Christ.
The alternative to me is a question mark. I choose not to believe in anything specifically because I think that narrows my scope too much. Everyone has a different idea of existence.
I'm going to have to accuse you of intellectual inconsistency. If I say to you,
I'm telling you that I choose not to believe in any one thing.
No, that is not what you said. You said, first of all, the reason that you cannot believe in Jesus Christ, in God, is because of lack of evidence. No problem. I understand you. No problem.
The reason I choose not
But
to believe
then
in
if
any
you-
religion is because of lack of evidence.
Ma'am, you are living for something or someone today. You're a very well put together person. You're articulate, you're thoughtful, you're dressed beautifully. You know very well you're not an accident. You know very well you're a highly motivated person. Now, if what you say is the reason, Cliffe, and if you're being honest with me, the reason that I cannot believe in God in Christ is because of lack of evidence, which I have no problem with. But you see, you've cornered yourself. Now you're going to have to explain to me what you are living for and what's this overwhelming evidence that obviously God in Christ cannot meet that convinces you that this alternative to Christ is superior, true, real. So I'm waiting to hear.
What's true and real is love. And you don't have to believe in a religion to believe in love.
Okay, so you're living for what? All right.
Works! Because you have evidence of one thing doesn't mean you automatically have evidence against it. There can be alternatives. Also, I'm Christian, so I don't know why I'm arguing so hard, but just
I don't know either.
logically.
I don't know either. You have a good day, okay? All right. Ma'am, if I say, and that's why I brought Darian up here, if I say there's not enough evidence for me to trust him with my wallet, then what that implies is, what that logically leads to is, Darian, if you give me more evidence that you're reliable, then I will trust you with my wallet. But if there's not enough evidence, I'm not going to trust him. And the same thing is true with God, with Christ.
Spectrum of trust, though. You can never have enough evidence to be able to trust that another person won't do something that you didn't predict.
Then you will lead a very lonely life. Because you cannot prove to me that your roommate is not going to stick a knife in your back tonight. It is possible. But hopefully the evidence is Your roommate is not going to stick a knife in your back when you lie on your bed asleep. And hopefully that's some fairly solid evidence. You can't prove it. Anything's possible. That's the way you got to live your life, man. You don't base your life on proof. I don't base my life on proof. But you better base your life on evidence. Otherwise, you're going to get your lunch eaten for you. Okay, fine. You should just love people. Well, then what is love? What is love? Just love people. What does that mean? What does that mean, just love people? See, if there is no God, love is just a chemical reaction.
That's highly possible.
Okay.
Science, that's possible. I don't reject that either.
Which means a free decision for me to care for you is impossible. If there is no God, all of reality is matter and energy evolved to a higher order. So I just do what my biochemical reactions between my ears program me to do.
Maybe.
Okay, so then why is date rape worse than respecting a woman? If my biochemical reactions, if I have a very high testosterone level, why should I not date rape? If that's what my biochemical reactions program me to do, why should I not do that?
Consequences of the outside.
Yeah, well, only dumb people get caught by the police. Smart people get away with whatever they want to get away with. They cover their tracks real well. Ma'am, all you got to do is see the movie Crash. That's all you got to do. Just watch the movie Crash, all right? It won the 2005 Oscar, right? And Matt Dillon plays that white police officer, right? And he's a racist guy, and he sexually abuses a black woman. And the next day, there's a car overturned on the highway. He wants to free the person trapped under there because the gas is coming down the road and the flames are coming. So Matt Dillon crawls underneath the car. Suddenly, the person looks him in the face, and it's the woman he has sexually molested the night before. She screams in horror. His buddies are saying, "Get out of there, get out of there." So biochemically, in terms of instinct, everything is saying, let her blow up. You won't have to go to court and get prosecuted, and save your backside because the gas and the flames are coming. But instead of deserting that woman and letting her blow up, that white racist police officer does what he should do instead of following his instincts. That demands a value of justice, a value of love that is not an instinct. It's not a biochemical reaction. It's a free decision.